Hi everyone! If you're a first time listener, welcome to the podcast. And if you are coming back for this week's episode, thank you for always tuning in. Perfect attendance ka na! So guys, get some snacks, grab your coffee, and let's start this week's episode. Hi everybody! Welcome back to yet another episode of Kristine's Voice, the podcast. So, hinga muna. Actually, this is quite unexpected because I was having bad allergies during the day. I didn't really expect to be able to record tonight. And well, it's just a good thing that I was able to, manage my allergies, thankfully, because all throughout the day, I tried sleeping it off. I drank medicine. I tried working out. Even during my workout, I was sneezing all over the place with a runny nose. Yeah, but everything is all right. Well, I have sinusitis, just so you know. And yeah, I'm just happy I am able to record this episode for you. Akala ko hindi na matutuloy. Anyway, so for today, since we started off episode 41 as practical tips when you are starting your podcast channel, I hope you listen to that. And then we follow that up. Last week's episode was all about how you can prepare for your first or succeeding episodes. And I am leaning towards more practical tips so that you can easily apply them. But as a follow up to last week's episode, I am going to share with you this week just a few tips about post production. So, this is the time you already finished recording your episode. And what are other things that you can do? What are some things you need to remember? And also, I'm going to share with you some applications or software websites that I can or that I use most of the time. That might be also useful for you. So again, this is all based on my experience. I am not the expert. If you know sound engineers or those who are working with audio nonstop, I think they would have far more incredible insights. But um, I just want to share with you what I know, since we are all here to share information and hopefully apply some of these information to our own channels. So yeah, anyway, I'm prepared a little flashcard kind of thing for you guys. I don't know, I'm trying it earlier because it's supposed to be mirrored dapat when I put it on camera. Anyway, so the first one, since you already finished your episode and you are now at this point where you want to review your audio. So before anything else, I just want you to take note of your setup. Have a test, or an audio test, a mic test or a video test of sorts before you proceed. Kasi mamaya salita ka lang ng salita, hindi naman pala tama yung audio na naka-input or microphone na input wherein you are recording. So just last week I had that experience. I'm already talking nonstop. It was already 40 minutes in, and when I finished, I reviewed the recording. The microphone that was, being used in the application or in Zoom is actually the webcam, not this microphone. So, as much as I want to salvage the file, my limited skills cannot really do it. I tried equalizing it, normalizing it, amplifying it, editing it, but really, to no avail. And I don't want to give you episodes that have poor quality because it would just defeat the purpose. See, you are here to listen to episodes. So if I'm not going to give you that, then why would you come back here? So I just decided to scrap it all off and start over again. And by this time, I was, more aware, and I made sure that the audio that will be taken during the recording will be coming from my main microphone, which is this one. So, yun. Kaya rin masyadong malapit yung mic ko last week. Kasi ayoko na ma-miss yung mga sinasabi ko. So, there you go. So, that's one thing. Be sure to have a, sample or test. When they do it when you have performances or when you're setting up on stage, mic test, mic, like that. So, you have to do that too, so that everything's ready and good to go. And you can also check first if there's anything around you that would be picked up by your microphone. So in this case, if I open the electric fan, I'm sure it will be picked up by the microphone as it is right in front of me. But thankfully, there are other sources of ventilation, kasi that's one problem that podcasters often have, or they post it in the pages, and wherein they often mention na ang init naman pala during recording. And I totally understand this kasi even when you're inside the booth, like the real studio booth, mainit po talaga. Unless it's the kind of wide booth, like ABS-CBN's booth, na naka-aircon talaga siya and soundproof, and, it's cold. But if you're not in that kind of space, you're just working at home, ayun, you would have to settle with turning off your electric fan or putting your aircon in energy saving mode so that it's not that loud. And yun, most of the podcasters I saw this week were, I think, commenting that they have to also work at night to minimize the noise, which is exactly what I do as well. So there you go. Anyway, so the first tip, I have three things you need to remember when you're on your post production. And this is, first, take note of the loudness of your audio. Post production na tayo, ah. The loudness of your audio, then the noise, and last, the echo. Di ba? May art pa yung echo ko. Loudness refers to the actual sound of your audio recording. So the measurement, let's get into the details. The measurement of loudness that is used right now, the more accurate one, is called the LUFS. LUFS. The LUFS. Can you see that? LUFS. LUFS. I just wrote here LUFS. The LUFS stands for the loudness unit full scale. So this is the more accurate measurement of loudness that is being used nowadays. But of course, what about decibels? What about decibels? So I read about it. Actually, the thing that I'm sharing with you right now, I researched it before pa talaga kasi I was wondering. My first question actually was, what is the ideal loudness of my podcast recording, or any podcast recording? That was my main question. This is why our first topic would be about loudness. So loudness is really just the measurement of how loud your audio is. And decibels, as I wrote here, dB, is now being described as the intensity of the loudness. So if we are going to talk about your podcast episode, you have to take the unit of measurement into laughs. Laughs. So the ideal, according to my research, and even if you Google it, the ideal laughs would be -16 laughs. Actually, like, laughs is actually equal to dB, but the difference in terminology should be taken note of. Kasi let's say you have an audio, you increase it by 2 laughs. So an increase in 2 laughs would actually be an increase by 2 decibels. Yeah, but we are just referring to the loudness of your audio, not the intensity or the highest. Meron pa kasi yung mga peaks, the highest peaks of your wave, yung wave na yon. But I will not go into the details. I'm not the right person for it. But if you're looking for the answer to my question, which is originally, what is the ideal sound for your audio? and that is this -16. In my case, I go about, or I go by a range. I don't necessarily stop at -16 because I think it's a little too quiet. Not quiet, but just a little quiet than I'm used to. And I'm the kind of person that when I play something, I don't want my audio to be at full volume. So what I do is I maintain a volume between -9 and -14 or 16. 12, 14, 16, mga ganon. And by this, I am assured that whenever I play the audio or my audio in my phone, for example, which is not at full volume, I can still hear my recordings. So if you know what I mean. Kasi ayoko nung lagi naka-full volume siya. So I just want it to be heard even though it's not as full volume or at full volume. So there. And I totally avoid having the audio, they have this scale in Adobe Audition wherein your audio would peak and have red warning signs, yung levels. So I try to avoid having those kinds of audio because first, it's kind of shocking to hear. Imagine you're listening to it and then biglang may boom. And that's too loud. So that's a no-no. And of course, you also have to take into consideration your voice, the way you speak. You're not shouting in front of the microphone, just like what I did earlier. You're not shouting in front of the microphone. You are trying to just talk and talk normally, speak in your normal voice, like sound, voice range. Yeah, so that's what I can share about loudness. The next one, loudness, noise. So for noise, make sure that you are, again, in an environment that, is not noisy. Because you can adjust noise. Actually, you can lessen it or minimize it in your app. But it would kind of be a lot of work unless you're an expert in audio or editing. But maybe the first remedy for it is have your recordings in a quiet place. Una pa lang. So that you won't have to deal with much noise later on. So, yeah, that's the most that I can share with noise. And another thing about this is, like, if there are noises in your audio, you can always try to reduce the volume of that specific noise or just cut it out and, you know get rid of it so that your audio will not contain as much noise. But these are the kinds of things that you have to watch out for. For example, when last week I noticed that whenever I was laughing, like air my voice would just be so crumbly, and then all of the air will come out of my mouth. And that's the kind of noise that we want to avoid. Also, it comes out in words with P, B, F, That's why you need a pop filter for those kinds of noise. And you really have to manage it by using a pop filter, by editing it out, reducing it, or maybe changing the way you speak. Yeah, but you have to take note of noise. And if it's something that you are, comfortable with, then why not? But maybe you have to consider your audience as well, especially if you are just talking. I always try to listen to my episodes in full after I edit it so that I know which ones should be edited out, which ones should be um, amplified, which ones should be removed, ganon, and which ones should be reduced. Kasi minsan nagugulat na lang ako eh. So we want to avoid that. I don't want to have sudden changes in audio level whenever we are making episodes. So yeah. The next one that you have to consider is, of course, echo. For echo, it's just simple. If there is so much echo when you are testing your audio before you are recording, you just have to lean closer into your microphone. Kasi baka naman malayo ka lang, it nagre-reverberate siya. And another thing is, make sure that your actual software doesn't have its reverb on. Kasi may ganong feature. You can actually edit it in a way that para kang nasa studio or sa concert hall. If you know apps, singing apps like Star Maker, they have those things as well. Parang may voice effect. So, yeah. But that's the actual tip that I can give you about echoes. And it's also good if you have a walk-in closet of sorts, because clothes have the quality to, reduce the noise around you and probably reduce the echo. Para siyang foam. It works well with the audio, making your audio sound more thick, compressed, and just clear. So yun siya. So if you have those things like in a booth, yung foam, that would also be good. I'm trying to research more about it because I want to get foams, installed. But we'll see about that. Anyway, so that's all that I can share about um, the post production, because I don't really do a lot in post production. Nagkakaroon lang ako ng masyadong work in terms of post production ngayon recently because of videos. But in terms of audio, I don't want to edit a lot because I want the episodes to be in some ways, fresh, raw, engaging. I just want to remove natural. I just want to remove yung unwanted noise, extreme loudness, and of course, if there's echo that can be minimized, I just want to remove all that. I just want everything to be clear, and that's just my main point. And then afterwards, once you have finalized your audio, please listen to it. Try to um, think of it as you are the listener who will be listening to your episode, and envision na, is this the kind of audio that my audience would be would be listening to? Is it kind to their ears? Is it something that they would be able to last listening to? Kasi pagka sobrang malakas, syempre masakit sa tenga, even if they try to lessen the volume. Kung yung audio mo is sobrang lakas, nag-ano na yan, nagpa-puff na yan, yung tipong puputok na siya, yung masakit na siya sa tenga. So you have to really take note of those things. And yeah, if you are saving your audio, I suggest you save it as the WAV, the WAV file, Windows Media Audio file. Yeah, or MP3 is okay. But kasi yung the WAV file, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but the file WAV, WAV is better in terms of the sound quality, the original quality. If you want to edit your recording later on, it's much better if hindi pa siya compressed like MP3. But I suggest you do it 2 times if you have space. You save it in WAV and you save it in MP3. The MP3 is compressed, so it is much smaller in size. So that's the one that you can upload easily on your podcast streaming host. And yeah, it can also be downloaded easily, no problem. Yeah, but if you are into, editing your audio, or if you think you would be using your audio for something else later on, you have to save it as WAV. Yeah, and of course, you have to make copies of your files. I know it's just me, but make copies of your files so that you can have them, you know, in file for later if you want to edit it, if you want to use it for something else, if there's something that needs to be amended or arranged. So there. Anyway, I told you this was going to be short, but that is my post production tip. And this time I want to share with you some apps that I use or websites and sites that I use. Yeah, wait lang. Yeah, sites that I use. And it's just going to be short because I am not going to give you a tutorial of these sites. I cannot do that. But I can share with you some of the apps that I use. Let's start with my audio editing software, which is Adobe Audition. But you can also use Audacity. I am not familiar with Audacity because I think it's mostly, or I think more of Mac users siya. But I heard it's also very good. Yeah, but I use Adobe Audition since I started with singing covers. So there, I'm already familiar with the interface, but I don't really use many of the um, kind of the effects because I'm not really familiar with it. But the basics I am familiar with, like amplifying, removing noise, um, gains, records, yeah, normalizing, equalizing. The next one is the Anchor app. I don't want to promote as much because yeah, everyone would have their own different podcast host site, but I'm using the Anchor app right now because you can already record episodes on your phone using the app. It's just so easy. You can also use their in-app sound effects and music. It's just really so good. I got hooked with that, I think, episode 30, 35 above. Thank you, Angie-san. Yeah. But you can also use that. I'm not sure if other podcast streaming hosts also have their own apps, but Anchor does that for you. And you can make use of that. The next one, when I was starting, I would always go crazy over audiograms. You know those short snippets of your audio wherein you would include waveforms and just you know upload it on your social media page, and it's just a highlight of your episodes. I still do that these days, but I don't use this site anymore because I learned how to do it in Adobe After Effects. But if you are new and if you're looking to using or making audiograms, this site, Wave, WAVVE.co, is a very good one. They offer subscription services. They also offer it free, but for a limited number of minutes only. Yeah, Wave actually is very easy to use. It's para lang siyang, for me, parang click and play, ganun. Kasi you just have to upload your image, the waveforms, you just have to choose. Para siyang drag and drop buttons lang. And then choose your colors, explore the designs. It's so easy. And you can save it and download it and make versions of your audiogram in different platforms, may for Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. It's just there's just so many options. But yun lang, the catch is they only have it for a limited number of minutes. So before, I used to plan it out, like what kinds of audiograms I would choose for specific episodes because I only have a limited number of minutes per month. So there. But that's why I learned how to do it in Adobe After Effects because I want to use longer audiograms or customize it in the way that I want to. There. So I hope that's going to be useful. Then the next two ones for would be useful for plotting your social media posts. And this is Plan with the double N, and Buffer. So these two apps actually are the same in terms of function. So they work well with social media sites like Instagram, wherein you can post or schedule, sorry, wherein you can schedule your posts. And I liked using it before because there would be days I'm so busy I wouldn't be able to open Instagram. But with Buffer and Plan, you can schedule your posts, and they can also tell you with their own in-app statistics when would be the best time to post, be when it be most engaging, when there would be more people. And apart from that, they can also help you see color schemes of your Instagram page. It's There's just so many options and so many possibilities. If you are if you know if you can do that, if you can already plot your week or your month, if you have a team to help you with that, that's going to be very useful. Unfortunately, I don't have that much planning going on in terms of the episodes. I wanted to, but the problem is I don't usually come up with episode highlights agad-agad kasi um apart from I don't really have that much time to do it. So syempre I have to make time for it. I just don't have specific things to say agad-agad. Alam mo yun? Parang I don't want it to be so curated that it's like a chore. So maybe that's just me. Maybe you can do your own planning and scheduling. It doesn't really, matter. Kasi I think it's better if you do your plotting ahead of time kasi it's important that you keep on posting, you keep on engaging because consistency is key in these platforms, because the algorithm, the more you post, the more you would have the attention of the algorithm. Yeah, that's how it goes. Yeah, side talk lang. Side talk lang, nagkwento ta. Kasi this week, I attended the NAS Academy community. If you know NAS Daily, meron silang community wherein they try to share their knowledge about creating videos, social media, and just basically giving back to the community. And it's free. So I kind of, yeah, I joined this week. It's just very spontaneous because I just saw it. It was all over my Facebook page. And I tried clicking on it and I joined this week. It's just so timely because I was able to catch the registration beforehand. And the topic that they were talking about that this week or Tuesday was about creating your YouTube channel. Yeah, I've always wanted that. But the tips that they've provided wasn't only for YouTube per se. I think it can also be applied for social media in general. So also for us podcasters, like the first one would be, or not the first one, the second tip would be about consistency. And we cannot cheat the algorithm, as they say, but the more that you engage, the more that you post, not just hype things, kasi may ganun sinasabi, riding the tide of the hype. Just because something is also, you post something related to it, so you get more views, you get more likes, you get more shares and comments and engagements. But after that post, the week after, you're not anymore um, gaining that kind of attention. The algorithm would actually tag you as riding the tide. So the suggestion is consistency. You just post whatever you think your content is, without really intentionally riding any hype or tide. And hopefully you're gonna be picked up by the algorithm and you would be shared to everybody. Of course, you have to do some work. You have to share. You have to do your publicity of sorts. And yeah, we all have to do that. Yeah. Anyway, I just have two more apps. Zoom, of course. Zoom is actually very good if you're using other platforms. Well, actually, this is a podcast that is I'm experimenting with video as well. So yeah, so Zoom works so well that it has an audio version of your recording already prepared for you after you record it after the meeting. And I love that. That's why I keep making videos together with the audio because it's ready. For the audio, I just get the file and then attach it to my intro. And then that's it. I just save it, and if there's anything that I want to edit, like dead air or something, I take it out and just do my post production tips. So yeah, loudness, noise, and echo. Then all right, last one is photo grid. I know there are far better, or I don't know about you, but I like it. I think this is very useful. But I know there are other photo editing softwares out there or apps. But for me, PhotoGrid is really good. It works so well. In fact, yeah. But the photos are coming in terms of how you would edit your thumbnails or your podcast cover art or your posts in general on social media. And I think it's just useful for you to have something or um some kind of what am I trying to say? My gosh, Kurt. Just just a backup plan in terms of how you would post regularly. And that includes photos. Or in my case, I always post quotes because I think of them as reminders for myself. So whenever you see quotations on my Instagram page or on my Facebook page, it's all about reminders, not just for me, but reminders that I can share with you. And most of these reminders I research beforehand, and I make sure that they are something that I can relate to and something that I can share. And yon, so I make beautiful, you know, beautiful edits of it, and yeah, you know the drill. It's all on Instagram. Anyway, so those are some of the apps that I could share, and actually that's it. I don't have a lot to share this week because I told you I just was able to calm down my allergies, so I didn't really think this episode would, you know, be game. I didn't think that it would be created, to be honest. Yeah. May tao. May tao. Yeah, I didn't think that it would push through. But thankfully, we got better. So there. So guys, that would be the last of the podcast tips for now, because I think we went through everything. I'm sorry, I cannot give you tutorials because I don't know the logistics of it. And I think we all have each of us will have our own different ways of going through this somehow learning process, because I started also, working on everything. And right now, I'm trying to learn a few basics of Photoshop and After Effects, so that I can present stuff better for you. So there, but most of it are only basic. I really don't know much about it. So if you have your expertise or some skills on that, that will be very useful. And I hope you can also share that to others in the future. So there you go. Thank you guys. Hopefully by next week I'll have a new um different topic for you guys. I'm actually experimenting on it. I want something about a self-help series, something that can give you motivation and inspiration, and favorites series. So I'll let you know about it. But we the first thing, the surprise for this week is It's just that I have a new podcast cover, and this is actually weeks in the making because it's so difficult to get a good photo, especially if you cannot go outside. So I had to sneak a little, sneak out a little and take a few shots that thankfully I can use for the podcast cover. So yeah, thank you, Jorens, for helping me with my podcast cover, and of course, my brother for helping me with some of the shadow effects thing on Photoshop. See, I really don't know anything about this. Anyway, so there, podcast cover is out, and I hope you guys like it. Kasi sobra na, 7 months na ata yung cover ko eh. January pa yun, ganun. anyway, anyways, thank you guys for listening. Again, please, please, please stay home. Stay home. Wash your hands regularly. Wear your mask. And now I think they're also wanting to wear your face shields outside. And as much as possible, share the information to your loved ones as well. And if you feel sick, please seek medical attention. Yeah. Let's all pray. 93,000 ata as of today. Yeah. It's bothering me so much. I don't want to talk about it. But we have to keep safe. Stay safe, everybody. And of course, please do your part in spreading the word. Okay? Stay safe, guys. Thank you. See you next week. So, hi again, guys. Sorry, may nakalimutan ako. I just forgot to tell you two things. So, additional to sa apps is you need, as a podcaster, you need to know information about um, things like streams, listeners, where would your listeners be coming from? What kinds of listeners do you attract? Are they more on female, male? Are they more of this age range, something like that? So these are your podcast analytics, and it's very helpful if you also get an app wherein you can monitor these things. And one app that is very useful for me is Spotify for podcasters. There's an app for it, and I think it's not yet fully, you know, the way that they designed it is not yet, fully out. I think it's still on beta. But so far, there are many developments with the app, and it's very useful. And I use it, especially if you are on Spotify. So you would get those kinds of information, and you would get number of listeners and streams per episode or as a whole. Basically, your general analytics since the beginning of your podcast. So if you just have to apply it on the app itself, you can easily reach out to them. They're very responsive via email. So that's one thing. If you're looking for other apps or sites that are also of the same function, wherein you can check the analytics of your podcast, is you can go to Audrey, AUDRY.io. It's new, I think. I'm just new to it, but they also provide such things, and they also are open to collaborations. I have yet to try that, but it's new. And if you're looking for something more local, what I can suggest is Podmetrics. It's very new. It's by the team from Podcast Network Asia. So it's called Podmetrics. They do the same thing, but since they're locally made, the organizers or the creators of the app are Filipinos. They are targeting Filipino podcasters. So you have to check those. Podmetrics is also new, but they've already started their beta testing. And so far, I'm also getting some of my analytics from those, or from them rather. And yon. And one other app or site is Chartable. Chartable. If you are like the ones friends who are reaching the top of the charts, congratulations. But if you are aiming for the charts and you want to know what number you are in terms of the charts within your niche or your genre, then you have to check Chartable. It's very easy to use, and Chartable also gives you the same analytics or more or less similar analytics like the Spotify for podcasters. Yep. So there you go. That's one thing that I forgot. The other thing is about your intro. It's very important. That's why I had to record it again. I actually just finished reading. I actually finished listening to the rest of my first recording. And this is the second recording which I have to create for you in addition because I cannot miss it. This is part of post production and helpful sites for you. The second thing is about your intro. So, what I do is I use music for my intro, you know this. And it's okay to use music, but my 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 ultimate reminder is please use only royalty free music or music that are of common license, because if you would use licensed music you might get in trouble for that, and the social media sites might just mute it for you, so it's just work wasted. So what I suggest is go to YouTube, check royalty free music, or Google it. Yeah, some music would have a common license and they would require you to post attributions like references whenever you post it. So that's also very important to take note of. But it's not entirely like altogether negative topic. There are free music out there that you can use. That's why I told you the app of Anchor is also very useful because they already have sound effects and music that you can use without worries. Yeah, but if you're looking into using music with your intro, then you have to take note of that. Yeah. So talaga minamadali ko siya. Yeah, anyway. Um yeah, one more thing with the intro. What I did kasi was create my intro. It's just a few seconds na naman. But create it and save it as a WAV, WAV, or MP3 file. So that whenever a new episode comes in, I just have to paste it together on Audition and save it. I don't have to, you know, record it again, do my intro again. And it's just hard work. So what I do is just get my intro. This is my intro file. Then paste it my new file and then stick it together, and you know smoothen the transition between my intro and my audio, my current episode, and voila, that's it. Not a lot of work. So I don't really do a lot of post prod, but those are some of the things that I can share with you, and I hope you make use of it, and I hope it's useful for you in any way, shape, or form. So yeah, those are just reminders based on my experiences. And yeah, that's it. Again, stay safe, guys. So yeah, pahabol na lang to. So, natuyo na yung buhok ko actually. Kanina basa siya. Anyway, bye. See you next week.